The Ukrainian authorities and their Western patrons are still in a state of shock from the massive Russian missile attack that took place on the night of July 8. According to preliminary data, as a result of this attack, the Russian Aerospace Forces launched a massive missile strike on almost all regions of Ukraine, including its western part. However, before showing you the consequences of this massive missile attack, I would like to start this video by discussing with you the destruction of the 15th in a row of an American Abrams tank. It is reported that this combat vehicle was destroyed near the village of Volchya, in the Avdiivka direction of the front. So, a few minutes ago, the Russian military published very interesting footage, where the destruction of another American Abrams tank is clearly visible. As it turned out, this tank was discovered near the village of Volchya, by a reconnaissance drone of a unit of the Russian group of troops under the designation center. Immediately after that, the Russian military sent several FPV drones towards the American tank at once. The footage shows how, as a result of the first impact, the Abrams tank received serious running gear damage, and oil began to leach out. At the same time, the tank crew tried to save the combat vehicle by taking it away in a westerly direction. However, as subsequent events have shown, such actions were not enough to save a valuable combat vehicle. Russian drones tracked down an American tank and finished it off in a wooded area, where Ukrainian militants were trying to hide this combat vehicle. The footage clearly shows how 4 Russian FPV drones, one after another, hit an American tank, leaving it no chance for survival. Later it turned out that this American tank was discovered by Russian drones because the 47th Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine under the designation Magura used this combat vehicle during a failed attack on Russian positions near the settlement of Novosilovka Pervaya. As it turned out, the 47th Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, having suffered heavy losses, decided to retreat towards the village of Volchya. It was during this retreat that Russian drones managed to discover the place of temporary deployment of the American tank, as a result of which it was completely destroyed. At the moment, only 6 American Abrams tanks remain at the disposal of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And judging by how events are developing on the battlefield, these remaining American combat vehicles will also be destroyed by Russian troops shortly. Meanwhile, on the night of July 8, Russia launched another massive missile attack on the territory of Ukraine. This time, such regions of Ukraine as Odessa, Kirovograd, Nikolaev, Chernihiv, Zhytomyr, Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkiv, Poltava, Donetsk, Cherkasy, Vinnytsia, and Kiev were subjected to massive missile strikes. It is reported that the air alerts sounded on the territory of all Ukrainian regions throughout the day. It is known for certain that during this attack, Russian forces used various types of missiles, including hypersonic ones. At the same time, it is worth noting that most of the missile strikes were carried out against the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. In addition, it is also worth paying attention to the fact that Russian missiles did not attack their targets immediately. It is reported that they were circling over Ukrainian cities and struck at the most unexpected moment. Most likely, this was done to deplete the Ukrainian air defense systems. So, in the Odessa and Nikolaev regions, Russian Kh-101 cruise missiles hit and destroyed about 8 classified NATO warehouses. As a result of this attack, a large number of 155mm ammunition, ATACMS missiles, and 3 units of HIMARS multiple launch rocket systems were destroyed. In the Kirovohrad region, Russian Kalibr cruise missiles struck the Kanatova airbase. In the Zhytomyr region, Caliber cruise missiles caused maximum damage to the Ozernoye military airfield. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, near the town of Pavlograd, Russian Iskander ballistic missiles struck and destroyed an industrial area of a local chemical plant, as well as several weapons depots. In addition, Russian ballistic missiles also hit the training ground of the armed forces of Ukraine, as well as the local airfield, which is one of the largest in Europe. In the Chernihiv region, Russian Tu-22M3 strategic bombers, using Kh-22 cruise missiles, struck and destroyed the place of the deployment of the personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine, as well as several operating locations of air defense systems. In the Donetsk region, Russian missiles hit and destroyed industrial workshops on the territory of the Novokramatorsk machine building plant. In the Kharkiv region, near the city of Kharkiv, Russian Kh-22 cruise missiles struck and destroyed military equipment and personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine. In the Kiev region, and in the city of Kiev itself, monitoring services recorded the largest number of explosions. Moreover, as it turned out, for the first time during the war, the Russian military fired dozens of Kinzhal hypersonic missiles upon the Kiev region. It is reported that even though the air defense systems in Kiev worked non-stop, they failed to shoot down even one Russian hypersonic missile. According to local monitoring services, about 3 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles hit Kiev International Airport. As a result of this attack, several combat helicopters were destroyed, as well as one Patriot air defense system, along with a combat crew. It is reported that these were active duty soldiers and officers of the U.S. Army. Russian hypersonic missiles also hit the Artyom plant, situated in Kiev itself. As it turned out, the Ukrainian and NATO military stored a large number of weapons and ammunition on the territory of this plant. By the way, all the statements of the Ukrainian General Staff that Russian missiles hit a large number of civilian buildings in Kiev do not correspond to the truth. As it turned out, all these civilian buildings were hit as a result of unsuccessful launches of Ukrainian air defense missiles. For example, in this photo, a Ukrainian air defense missile is clearly visible, which went off course and hit the building of a medical institution in Kiev. Against this backdrop, Ukrainian telegram channels and military experts called on the Kiev authorities not to place defense production facilities within the boundaries of large cities. In their opinion, Ukraine should completely stop producing weapons on its territory and move its factories to neighboring countries. Ukrainian experts are confident that only after that, Russian massive missile attacks on the territory of Ukraine will stop.